Today I will discuss the classical sonata, the classical symphony, and the sonata form. A sonata is a work in several movements for one or two instruments. With 3 instruments, it's called a trio. With 4, it's called a quartet. And with 5, it is a quintet. So it's an instrumental work. Now we're going to look at Mozart's Sonata number 12, Kegel 322, and notice the dynamics marked into the music. We will see the Alberti bass pattern in the left hand. We will see and notice the melody and the accompaniment and the ornaments written in and the little psi motifs. And all this making it more suitable for playing this on a piano rather than a harpsichord. So let's look at the example. So this is what we have in your Cambridge book, assignment 47. Listen to the beginning of the Mozart Sonata in F major. And in what ways do you think is this music more suited to the piano than to the harpsichord? And there's definitely things that I can see. All those phrase marks, I will never have that when I have the harpsichord, because the harpsichord is plucked and the sound is gone the moment that you stop playing that. I see that Alberti bass pattern in the left hand. I have a piano that's marked in. I see the trill, that mordent ornamentation written out. Also crescendo. I couldn't do crescendo on the harpsichord. I have the forte. There, piano again. And I have little detached notes as well marked in contrast with the phrase marks. And in that bar there, bar 23, you will see the psi motive, taram. And that I have a lot in classical music. Also that ornamentation, little arpeggio written out. So this all shows me that this was intended for the piano. And there we have a summary of the word sonata again, meaning sounded was the name a classical composer gave to a work in several movements for 1 or 2 instruments only. For instance, a piano sonata like this one, a violin and piano. If 3 instruments took part, he called his work a trio, 4 a quartet, 5 a quintet, and so on. Other important types of composition for an orchestra were the symphony and the concerto. And today we're also going to look at the symphony. In the background I hear a Haydn Symphony, so let's look at the symphony, meaning sounding together, was in fact a sonata for the orchestra. It grew from the Italian overture, okay? But you know that the Italian overture was one work in 3 sections. Fast, slow, fast. In the early classical symphony, these became the 3 separate movements. So they had a fast movement, a slow movement, and a fast movement. Later, the usual number became 4, with a minuet in trio, a dance borrowed from the Baroque suite. We know the minuet still in 3/4 time, inserted between the slow movement. So we see the second movement there, the slow movement, and the finale, the fast movement. So that third movement then was added on later. Many composers took a hand in shaping the symphony. We had Sammartini, Johann Stamitz, who became the director of one of the most famous orchestras, the Mannheim Orchestra, CPE, and J.C. Bach. They all took part in shaping the symphony. But it was Haydn and Mozart who enriched and perfected the symphony during the second half of the 18th century. The movements of a classical symphony is well contrasted in speed and character, and we usually have it set according to a basic plan. So the first movement is fairly fast and it's built up in sonata form. We're going to do sonata form as well today. The second movement is a slower movement and it's more song-like, cantabile, and it's often in ternary form, A, B, A, or I have variations, a theme and variations, and it can also be in sonata form again. The third movement at this point Haydn and Mozart wrote a minuet and trio. Beethoven later transformed this into a much brisker and more vigorous scherzo, meaning a joke. And the fourth movement, the finale, is the fastest speed of all the movements, and it's often light-hearted in mood. And in rondo form, we did rondo form with the Baroque pieces, A, B, A, C, A, D, A. It can also be in sonata form, and it can be a mixture of both, and sometimes also with variations. So let's look at the different movements again. The first movement, usually fast and in sonata form. The second movement, usually slower and more song-like, cantabile. It could be in sonata form or ternary form, the ABA form, and perhaps with variations. The third movement, Haydn and Mozart wrote not a minuet in trio at this point. I will just correct that. And Beethoven later turned this into a scherzo, and it's a joke. The fourth movement is fast, often light-hearted, perhaps in rondo form or sonata form or with variations. Now, today I'm playing Haydn music, so let's look at Haydn. He wrote lots of sonatas, and he also had a surprise symphony, the drumroll symphony, and the London symphony. He didn't give the names to the symphonies. He wrote a lot of symphonies. Trios and quartets were also in 4 movements. Sonatas might have 3 or 4 movements. The classical concerto that we will do next week did not include the minuet, and so only had 3 movements. So what's important for today is that you know that the symphony started with 3 movements, and that changed to 4 movements later on, and the sonata that we're also doing today might have 3 or 4 movements. We will concentrate on assignment 47 and 48 this week. So 47 was about the sonata. Let's look at 48. Listen to a symphony by Haydn, such as number 94 in G, or number 103, or his last symphony, number 104. That's why I said he wrote a lot of symphonies. Describe the orchestra which Haydn uses. So go through to last week, I concentrated on the orchestra, and you will see all the different instruments that they had in an orchestra that time, and figure out what he uses in this orchestra that you are going to describe. And how do the four movements of the symphony contrast with each other in speed and character? So if you listen to his symphony, just listen to the first part of every movement so that you can tell me more about the speed and the character of the different movements. Note down some of the ways in which Haydn achieves variety and contrast within each movement. So variety and contrast, it can be speed contrast in a movement, it can be articulation or dynamics. So think about the contrast, not between the different movements, but within each movement. We will also look at sonata form. We saw the word a lot with the different movements that they can use sonata form. In each of these various kinds of composition, the first movement is almost always designed to be in sonata form. This name is rather misleading. Sonata form does not refer to the structure of a complete work, but to a special kind of musical form or design used to build up a single movement of a work. So the design is how many themes I have, do I have a bridge in between, do I develop it, do I come back to the specific themes. Baroque composers had tended to write melodies in long flowing lines. The length of a piece of music often depended upon the spinning out of these melodies, with the same affection or mood, and the same rhythm, and generally persisting throughout. So we had one mood, and we had one long, complicated rhythm, and have the same melody that was developed in the Baroque. The melodies of the classical composers tend to be shorter, with clear-cut outlines and incisive rhythms. Contrasting tunes and rhythms closely followed one another, so that the mood is constantly changing, emphasized by frequent changes of timbre, instrumental color. That can also help you with your assignment 48. How they use the instruments. When classical composers looked for a means of building up these varying elements into a balanced, coherent musical design, they eventually found that sonata form provided the most satisfying solution. Sonata form grew out of the binary form, AB, but it is ternary, it's three-part, in outline, in that it consists of three main sections: the exposition, the development, and the recapitulation. There may be a slow introduction before the sonata form really begins. So I want you to read through this in your book so that you see all the different parts that I have in the exposition. You will see there the first subject, the second subject. So I want you to thoroughly read through this because I'm just going to explain the little form that I have. Also read through the development and the recapitulation, because I'm going to concentrate on the diagram to show you the basic plan for building up a piece in sonata form. So here we have the basic plan for building up a sonata form. I have my first subject in the tonic. So if I work in C major, this is in C major. Then I have a bridge, and in that bridge, I change to a new key. It can be the minor, so I can go to A minor, or it can go to the dominant G major. And the second subject will also have a different mood. So go through your work, and now it's in a new key. So that's the exposition, the presentation. Now the development is like discussing. I go through different new keys. I discuss. I develop old material that I've used here. I combine, and I have opposing ideas from the exposition. So I can have new material, or I can use material that I have used in my exposition. And I can go through different keys here. If this was in C major and G major, I can go to F major or B flat major or E flat major. Okay? Now the recapitulation is the restatement. The first subject will be exactly the way that I heard this in the exposition. Now the bridge this time will not change to a new key. I will stay in the key of C major. And the second subject, of course, will also be in C major, because I want to end my composition in my tonic key. And then coda, that's the Latin word for tail, to round off this whole work. So let's look at this again. The first subject is in the tonic, and where I have the bridge passage, I change key, and I have the second subject that can be in the dominant or in a minor key, and it's usually more tuneful. And then I have the closing section there, and in my development, I develop ideas, and it creates a feeling of tension and conflict, and the climax of this whole piece may be in this development. The recapitulation, the music is repeated from the beginning, okay? But by bridge passage, I stay in the tonic key, and the second subject is also in the tonic key, and then I have the closing section, and the music may have a coda, which rounds off the music. So go through your work for this week. Make sure that you know the sonata, the symphony, and the sonata form.